What's up everyone, my name is techgeekjosh and you're watching the video review of the all-new Motorola Moto E4 provided by Verizon Wireless. As of this recording, the Motorola Moto E4 is currently going for only $40 at Walmart. For $40 you get a 5-inch 1280 by 720 HD display with a pixel per inch count of 294, and it also features a very subtle 2.5D curved glass, which is very subtle. You can barely notice it. As for the cameras, we get a 5 megapixel front shooter with an LED flash. Most phones at this price range don't feature an LED flash, so for $40 for the E4, it's already looking pretty good. And as for the rear, we get an 8 megapixel autofocus camera with an LED flash. And as you will see here, it's more like the high-end Motorola Droids that are like about 10 times this price. Let's go ahead and unlock it and take a look at the camera interface. And I will have to zoom in because I highly doubt you can read what's on the screen from this far away. So at the top we have your HDR auto on or off. In the center we get your flash, which is on the front, auto on or off. And then we have your timer for 3 seconds, 10 seconds or off. And then moving on down, yes, the screen is already smudged up. It is a fingerprint magnet. Right here we get your camera switch key. If I flip that, it'll flip to the front facing camera. Then here we get your photo button, which you tap to take a photo, and it's actually pretty quick. Here we get your record button. Tap that. Well, not record button, my mistake. Video button, and tap that. And we are now recording video, and as you can see over here, we can tap that shutter button to take a photo while recording. We can also stop, resume, or pause, resume, and also stop. And these 3 dots down here, pressing this will get you professional mode, which you can tweak the settings to your liking, panorama mode, video mode, or photo mode. Swiping this way, we get some more settings. Shutter sound on or off. Storage, either your phone storage or an SD card if you have one. I don't currently have one, so it's set to phone. Quick capture, which is basically you double press the power button and it will launch the camera. I currently have that turned off. Save location on or off. Photo, 4x3 at 8 megapixel or 16x9 at 6 megapixel. Right now it's at 4x3 at 8 megapixel. Tap anywhere to capture, which is basically self-explanatory. You tap anywhere on the screen to take a photo. Assistive grid, and for your video, right here, we get full HD at 1080p at 30 frames per second, 720p HD at 30 frames, and as low as VGA 480p at 30 FPS. And this device does have 1080p recording both in the front and rear camera, which is also very nice for the price. Did not mean to rhyme. And also you have your quick tutorial. And that's the recent video we just shot. Go back to the camera. And this is the rear camera, so let's go ahead and flip to the front and swipe this way. And, well, basically it's the same exact settings. Right. As for the processor, we will go ahead and fire up CPU-Z. Actually zoom back in because the font they use is pretty small. You will see that the E4 runs a 1.4 gigahertz Qualcomm Snapdragon 425 chipset with a Cortex A53 64-bit CPU and an Adreno 308 GPU. These specs don't scream cutting edge, but it gets the job done very, very well. It also features 2 GB of RAM for fluid multitasking. Now on to the storage. Let's fire up settings and let's find storage. Now the E4 comes equipped with 16 gigabytes of storage, of built-in storage, but out of that 16 gigabytes we only get, where was it? We only get about 9 point, I'm reading my notes over here, 9.5 gigabytes available. And right now I currently have 7.87 gigabytes free. Let's actually just zoom back out. I don't need to zoom in because I'm going to get a lot of people saying that you don't need to keep zooming in. So I just zoomed back out. Luckily, there is an SD card expansion, which can be found right in the back. And let me go ahead and pop off the back cover to show you where the SD card is located. The SD card slot is right here. The Moto E4 can support up to a 256 gigabyte SD card, which is getting to be pretty common on budget phones these days for 2017. So that's a very nice feature. But this 9.5 gigabytes of storage won't get you very far depending on who you are. If you like to download a lot of apps, there is an SD card slot for an SD card. And if you're not into downloading a whole lot of apps, then you should be just fine. Just like I am. I can get by very well with 16 gigabytes. That's plenty for me because I hardly ever use a lot of apps. These are basically the apps that I use. So obviously it's not a lot. Okay, so let's talk about the battery on the E4. I just went ahead and put the battery cover back on, even though I was going to talk about the battery. I'm having trouble locating it again. My mistake. Now, surprisingly enough, the E4, or I should say surprisingly enough, Motorola has provided the E4 with the same milliampere hour battery as the G4 Play, which is currently going for, I think, $34 to $35 at Family Dollar still, which is awesome for that price. And it is the same battery as, well, same milliampere hour battery as a G4 Play, but I'm surprised to say that it actually doesn't drain as fast as the Moto G4 Play, which a couple of you guys will probably agree. It doesn't die out as fast as the G4 Play. So that's very good. And that's probably due to the fact that the E4 here runs Android 7.1.1 Nougat. Yes, you heard me. A $40, a brand new $40 budget phone runs Android Nougat. And it also has a fingerprint sensor, which is very astonishing for a $40 smartphone. You can see right there, Android 7.1.1 Nougat. And if you swipe this way while you're in the settings, you basically get all of the other settings to go to. So if you're in like right here, well, that's the same thing, my mistake again. You just tap, let's say display, it'll take right to the display, and yes. Now, on Verizon's website, I found that they claim the standby time of this battery is Standby time is 19 days with a usage time of 24.3 hours, and that mileage will also vary depending on who you are, whether you are a light user, a moderate user, or a heavy user. This is my first charge on the E4, and it's still at 100%. That's because I literally just unplugged it not even like 10 minutes before this video, and I'm glad to say that it's actually holding them quite well thus far. And that's just about it for the Motorola Moto E4 video review. If you found this video informative or helpful in any way possible, leave a like or dislike if you didn't find this video helpful. And with all that being said, I'll see you in the next video.